So my psycho first date went viral. Wasn't necessarily my intention, but here we are. And I have to be honest, the aftermath, some of it is more disturbing to me than the actual events. I don't plan on making many more videos about this, but there are some comments that I want to address. First, let me address some of the general consensus. My intentions were never to embarrass Jerome, but his actions were embarrassing. So I understand if he's embarrassed. And I don't believe that anybody on the internet should be bullied or trolled or anything like that. So don't even waste your time, guys. But first and foremost, if you didn't make it to the end of my video series, he brought it to social media first, which is the only reason that I responded on social media. I literally told y'all he was messaging my family, my friends, coworkers, like. Anyway, there have been men and women who have been making certain comments that I feel like need to get addressed. So let me go ahead and hop into them. Now, this first comment, I don't feel like she meant any harm, but this is what she said. Ladies, it's best if you all go out and split the bill. Pay for your portion. The entitlement is all because he paid for a meal and drinks after. Pay your portion and just leave them alone if it doesn't work out. Maybe you should have Zelled or Cash App the money he paid for dinner. Now, like I said, I don't think she meant any harm by this, but let me tell y'all something. If you think that you can control the way a fucking psychopath is gonna act just by paying for dinner, you sadly have another thing coming. These situations are not about the money. He didn't feel any type of way about spending the money. What he felt the type of way about is that the money didn't get him the desired outcome that he wanted. This was about power and control. It had nothing to do with the money. I think you should always come to a date prepared to pay for yourself. And I was. I even asked him if he wanted me to contribute or leave the tip, and he said no. Long story short, all I wanted to say with this comment is that you might think that this is preventing you from experiencing a situation like this, but even if we would have ate at McDonald's, it would have been the same outcome. Not gonna lie, this one really irritated me. It was just a misunderstanding. They both could have handled the situation better with a little compassion and understanding. I'm trying to figure out how much more compassionate I could have been to somebody telling me to unalive myself, but go on. He did go off the deep end a bit and too soon to have come to a decent conclusion to the initial disagreement. But for her to make several posts giving his name was a bit unnecessary. Just block him and don't even read his text. Again, like I already said, he brought this to social media first, and after 15 hours of harassment, the world can know your name, baby. I'm okay with that. Because you're delusional if y'all think that this is the worst thing this man has ever done. One thing I do agree with that he said was learn to move on from drama and recognize red flags and bad energy and how to cut things off to the point that his comments don't bother you. This I do agree with, and his comments didn't bother me, but I shared this story time for educational purposes. To make a police report is a bit much on her part. She didn't have to read the text, which would have protected her energy and feelings. That's the part of the comment that really pissed me off, not gonna lie. Because I feel like this rhetoric is only spewed to black women about calling the police. First of all, I'm a civilian, so I'm going to use my civilian services, okay? Second of all, too many women have died, been killed, beaten, all type of situations because they were afraid to call the police or they felt like calling the police was too much. Also, let's stop acting like the police really give a shit because they don't. But literally, I wanted a paper trail if anything happened to me to know that I did call and I did report this harassment. And I don't regret going to the police at all. Because as I said, you're delusional if you think this is the worst thing he's ever done and he's only met me one time. This comment came from a woman and it also kind of pissed me off. And I understand she hasn't dated since she was 21, but surely she doesn't think men are spending $500 on first date just to get to know someone. Sure, you haven't dated since 21, but if you're alive, dating, and active on social media, you should already know how the dating temperature is. So in case this wasn't listening, I literally just started dating. This was literally my second date since being single. Also, I don't have poverty mindset, okay? I had no idea he spent $500 on the dinner because I didn't see the bill. But if a man suggests a restaurant to me, I'm going to assume it's in your budget. And there are women being courted, respected, admired, adorned every single day. So we have to stop this rhetoric of just because somebody spends money, they expect something from you. It would be ignorant to believe that every man out there that has money acts the way that he did. And I actually refuse to believe that. But again, this goes with the first comment. Feeling like you can control these different types of situations by limiting the amount of money that you allow a guy to spend on you. Honestly, it's a weird take for me, but okay. Out of everything, I think what has disappointed me the most is really coming to the understanding that there is a coalition of men who act and feel this way, and they are among us every day, looking regular. My video was shared to a group called Passport Bros Are Winning, and they say she is a dang lie. A real passport bro would never date a woman like her. She doesn't fit the bill at all. And I really, really wish this was true. But unfortunately, these men are not practicing what they preach, and they are hollering at your poor American woman like myself. Because you're right, I don't fit the bill of what a passport bro is looking for. I'm black, extremely curvy, and very obviously American. But you know why that doesn't stop men like Jerome from approaching me? Because as much as they would hate to admit it, you're attracted to me. And that is okay. But what's not okay is continuing to try to belittle women based off of their looks as if I'm some type of object. A random stranger on the internet calling me unattractive does not hurt my feelings. My goal in life is not to be a Barbie doll. I am intelligent, I'm kind, I'm driven, I'm ambitious. I am so many other things other than my looks. And at the end of the day, if you're calling me unattractive, you're blind or you're a liar. All in all, this has been really eye-opening and disappointing for me, I'm not gonna lie. I knew that this podcast era was like crazy, but I guess I'm the type of person that just thought that social media is not the real world and, people just say things on the internet, I guess. I didn't really recognize how much of an impact this was having in real life situations. And I think the irony of it is everything that Jerome claimed that he was looking for, I literally was. But because he obviously has been fed so much rhetoric and has so much hurt and pain within him, he assumed that I was something that I wasn't just because he could not fathom that someone that he actually likes and wanted liked him back. That honestly makes me feel very sad for him, and I genuinely do hope that he gets the help that he needs, because I think that he could have been a nice guy, but yeah. My next video, I'm going to talk about the green flags and all of the good things that happened during the date and our time together, because I think it's really important to recognize those things as well, because the green flags are what makes us overlook the red flags. I know I outlined a lot of different red flags, and obviously based off of what you guys hear, there was even more that revealed themselves after the fact. But I really want you guys to put yourself in my shoes and, see things from my perspective of why I did decide to give him an opportunity for a second date. Because like I said, the green flags are what makes us ignore the red flags, even if the green flags don't outnumber the red flags.